Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our special symposium this afternoon, the Transport Accident Commission Symposium, an Enhanced Crash Investigation Study. It's great to be with you again. I'm only sorry that I'm not with you in person, as I've been pleased to be involved with the TAC for many different events over many years, but it's delightful to be with you again, albeit in very separate and different locations. It's a different setup this year, as you can see, but we're very glad that you could Zoom in and join us today. In a moment, I'm going to introduce the Chief Executive Officer of TAC, Joe Calafiore, who will welcome you properly. But I'm just pleased to be here to guide us through, I guess, revealing the findings of the Enhanced Crash Investigation Study, and then to talk through some of those findings with some key members of frontline services and also some stakeholders and those who know this field best. It's an issue that the TAC has been trying to lead on for a number of years now. And again, I'm pleased to be part of continuing that conversation. Serious injuries in road crashes are happening to thousands of Victorians every year, but this trauma is largely hidden, often because mostly we speak about the road toll, but understandably so. So the ECIS, that's the Enhanced Crash Investigation Study, it was established to provide a comprehensive understanding of 400 serious injuries, crashes involving drivers and passengers. So by studying the crashes in forensic detail and through a multidisciplinary lens, the ECIS is identifying how serious injury on Victorian roads from and in other jurisdictions could be potentially eliminated. So it's an exciting day. We're actually sharing the key findings of this extensive, in-depth study with all of you for the first time, for those who are working in this area, so that you can make a difference. As safety practitioners, as policymakers, road and transport designers, planners, managers, operators. You'll be hearing from ambulance workers, from the police, and from other organisations as well. So there are many of you here from all of those key stakeholder areas who are passionate about making a difference and who can make a difference. And I'm quite sure that what you hear from this research will actually enable you and help you to do just that. So the project aims to shine a light where the opportunities are for our collective efforts in changing the future and preventing serious injury trauma. I'll take you through some of the timings in just a moment. I think you know that we finish up at 5 o'clock today. The key break is at 3:30, just to bear that in mind, after we have a couple of presentations. And you also hear from Associate Professor Michael Fitzharris and the findings of this research project. That's when we'll take a bit of a break. Then we'll convene with 2 panels, and you're invited to send in your questions the whole way through. Whenever you hear anything that's of interest to you or an issue you want to raise, use your chat facility there, send in your questions, and we'll endeavour to have them answered. It's now my great pleasure to introduce to you the Chief Executive Officer of the TAC, Joe Calafiore. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you very much, Virginia, and good afternoon, everyone. And what a privilege to be with everyone today to launch this landmark study, the ECIS. Let me begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the various lands of which we are meeting today, which in my case in Geelong is the Wadawurrung people, and pay my respects to elders past, present and future. It's also my great pleasure to acknowledge so many of our guests and experts that we'll be hearing from throughout the day, starting with Libby Murphy, Victoria Police's Assistant Commissioner for Traffic, Professor Klaus Tingval, Chair of the Academic Expert Group and an inspiration to so many of us that work in road safety, Dr. Soames Jobe, Global Lead of Road Safety for the World Bank, Robin Seymour, Chief Executive of Road Safety Victoria and Deputy Secretary of the Transport Department, Professor Rebecca Brown, Senior Vice Provost from Research from our great partners at Monash University, Associate Professor Michael Fitzharris from UARC, obviously, and the key lead author of this ECIS study. I see Dr. Christian Kenfield, who's been a friend of the TAC for many, many years and actually has worked on many TAC clients throughout his storied career as a surgeon, and he's a chair of the Trauma Committee of the Royal Australian College of Surgeons. Welcome, Christian. Members of the TAC board who are with us today, Dr. Samantha Smith, David Heath, James Flintoft and John Merritt. John, in addition to being a TAC board member, is also chair of our sister organisation WorkSafe Victoria, but is also well known, I'm sure, to many people in this group as former Chief Executive of Vic Roads and made some amazing advances in his time in that capacity. And to the team at the TAC, Samantha Cofield, Michael Neuensteed and Chelsea Mortlock. So people are very familiar with the phrase, good things happen to those who wait. My view is this ECIS is really about good things happen to people who persist. So some very brief history. At the start of the last decade, we'd punched through the psychological 2 barrier road toll. So 2007, 8, 9, we've got a road toll in the low 3s, and we managed to punch through and get a 2 in front of the road toll. And what you've seen over this last decade from the high 2s, will just fall short of that very stretched target under 200 by 2020, but really been able to push down road trauma in fatalities. And as Virginia mentioned in her introduction, what we were observing a decade ago in serious injuries was actually the opposite. So in June 2010, hospitalisations of greater than 14 days, which is pretty serious to spend more than 2 weeks in hospital, we were going from over 800 on a rolling 12-month to 950 and rising. And we knew that as the social insurer, seeing the clients coming in the door, and we knew it from chatting to people like Christian, that the problem was actually getting worse. And we knew as the social insurer, this was not only affecting the individuals, obviously, that have to suffer the consequences of serious injuries, but it had the massive impact on the families and the friends and the workplaces. As Virginia said, that hidden toll and that ripple effect that goes right throughout the community. We knew as insurer that these were also often lifetime, very expensive claims where the cost, the burden was being borne by the entire community. Samantha Cofield and I used to go along to the TAC Board of Management at the time, and I think the euphemism is robust questioning, and we would get very robust questions such as, why are overseas jurisdictions doing better? Do we have our investments in the right place? We're speaking about a safe system approach, but do we truly mean that? And most importantly, we kept getting asked, why don't we know more? Why don't we know more about serious injury crashes? And it became very apparent to us that we needed to do 2 things. We needed to make a level of investment in serious injury crash research to a level that we had never made before, at a scale we've never done before at the TAC. And secondly, and most importantly, we could not do this ourselves. We needed to harness the power and the intellect, not just nationally in the road safety community, but the best and brightest people internationally to help us. And that's why this research is so important to the road safety community. Klaus Tingvale and his team forged the path 2 decades ago in terms of what needed to be done. And what we always lacked, we felt, was research to a depth and a breadth that could cut through what we call the opinion-rich world that is road safety and really set a path as to what we need to do to push down serious injury trauma. So a massive piece of work breaking down in forensic detail 400 actual crashes. And I really do pay tribute to Associate Professor Mike Fitzharris and the entire ECIS team for staying the course on this project, which took many years, to the TAC Samantha Cofield and Michael Neuensteed, and Michael for his dogged persistence and checking every number, every comma, every stat over the years, because knowing full well when you publish research in a field like road safety, you invite heavy scrutiny, and we welcome that strong scrutiny. And lastly, to all of the agencies that have been involved, Transport, Police, Ambulance Victoria, the Alfred, the Royal Melbourne, and I'm sure I've missed some people there too. The collective effort that has gone into this work has really just been extraordinary. And just lastly, in the last minute or two, can I just take the moment to acknowledge the immense work of Antonietta Cavallo, who not only in just coordinating this symposium, who just last week was awarded the fellowship from the Australian College of Road Safety, which actually is one of the highest honours in road safety. So an enormous congratulations and thank you to you, Antonietta. Lastly, the insights in this work, I think today are going to be provocative They are going to challenge some existing views and they're going to stimulate debate. And that is precisely what we want. As we develop our next road safety strategy, led by Robin Seymour and her team at the Transport Department, make no mistake, our ambition and commitment to keep Victoria as a world leader has never been greater. We are going to push to halve serious road trauma over the next decade, except this time we do it with the power of the insights of the ECIS in our pocket. So thank you so much for everyone's attendance and participation today. It's my pleasure to hand back to you, Virginia, and we look forward to the day.
Terrific, Joe. Thanks so much for that. Now, as the TAC always does very well, I think, that we've got the data coming our way and a forensic dive into the accidents are going to be looked at and show what they reveal about serious injury, cost to community and cost to all of us. But also, I think the organisation's been very good over the years in telling the personal stories and actually putting a face and a voice to the experience of road trauma and road accident.